Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar on developing a sustainable youth-led peer support program. My name is Emily Scahill. I'm the manager of peer advocacy supports and services at MHA's national office, and I will be moderating today's webinar. Some notes before I introduce you to our presenters. There's occasionally a lag with the screen changing, so if the slides don't move forward on your screen immediately, don't worry, it's not on your end, just give it a second. We are recording this webinar, and I will send that out to everyone along with the slides in the next day or so. And last but not least, we've built in some time for a Q&A at the end. So in your start meeting window, there's a chat bubble, which you can click on to open up a messaging window. Feel free to drop any questions in there, and we'll go through some at the end, including tech questions. I'll be monitoring that the whole time. So if you run into any tech issues, pop them in there, and I'll help you out. So now I am so excited to introduce you to our three presenters for today, Carolyn, Maria, and Kevin. Carolyn Cox has worked as a peer support specialist for over 15 years with a focus on families and youth. She runs her own consulting business, Family First Consulting, and sits on a number of local and state boards in Washington State. After realizing how helpful peer support would have been to her as she was growing up, she co-founded the Spark program at New Horizons Alternative High School in Pasco, Washington. Maria Nunez is a graduate of the Spark program and currently works on the Spark development team. She is also a peer counselor at Comprehensive Healthcare for their New Journeys program. Maria is the first Latina youth appointed to the Behavioral Health Advisory Council by the governor. She is passionate about being an advocate for youth and is determined to see her dreams and visions for the future become reality for both herself and other youth nationwide. Kevin Galicia was introduced to the Spark program during a difficult time in his recovery. He saw it as a sign of hope and was able to learn more about behavioral health and using his lived experience to support others. After becoming a certified peer counselor, Kevin took a role in developing the future of the Spark program. He also works with his region's Family Youth System Partner Roundtable, a juvenile justice systems diversion program in the International Association of Peer Supporters. So with that, I will turn it over to the Spark team.
Can you hear us?
Yep, sounds great.
Okay, awesome. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carolyn Cox, and we're so excited to share this program with you. So I guess we'll just start from the beginning. So Spark came about, a colleague of mine and I were trying to get something going for some of our students at the school, and we went after a grant. It was a small grant. I think it was the most you could receive was like $5,000, and we ended up not getting it, but we pitched this to, I thought, you know what, somebody's got to hear this idea of students learning how to become certified peer counselors in such a great atmosphere that we were in, which was New Horizons High School, and it is an alternative school for youth to come and retrieve for credit retrieval so that they can graduate. So my colleague and I, Lucinda, her and I came up with this idea of Spark. We had no clue what it meant, but we were like, it's a spark of an idea. And Lucinda came to work the next day and said, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with an epiphany of what this means. And it was students providing and receiving knowledge. And what is so true about that is that I get to learn from students every single day. I have had the wonderful opportunity to work at the alternative school in our Mindset Reset Room. So I get to see youth every day that maybe aren't at their best. And we get to talk about that and help figure out ways for them to kind of take control of situations, learn some social and emotional skills. And Lucinda said, hey, SPARK stands for Students Providing and Receiving Knowledge, and I fell in love with it, and I said, let's do it. So that's how we got our Spark name. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I'm going to do just a little bit of talking here at the beginning because I'm really excited to hear what Kevin and Maria have to talk about, because they have been so instrumental in this, along with our other members of our development team, in developing this program for youth. So this is our original class, and some of the folks that are in there are actually certified state trainers for the certified peer classes. I am very fortunate that I get to join two other really awesome people. Miss Trinity Landrum, she's over in Everett, Washington, and works for a WISE program, which is wraparound with intensive services. And Miss Jeanette Barnes, who is just, she's been my mentor for I don't know how long. She's worked for our state, and she's got so much knowledge that, and she's fun to be around. So we have them in the picture, Lucinda's in the picture, but all the youth in the middle there, they make up the Spark program for our first go-around. And what this does is a career pathway to build in building Washington State's peer counseling workforce with an emphasis on WISE. And why we chose to do that and partner with the state with the WISE program is because it's kind of a cool thing. Our legislature has mandated that WISE programs have to hire youth peer counselors for this program. And so it's pretty awesome that youth are being recognized and being put at the forefront for helping other youth. So we thought, what a better way than to bring youth into the picture. And I got to tell you, the youth that I get to work with and see and learn from every day brings so much to the table. Their stories are beautiful. They've overcome so much, and they make me so proud every day, but I learn from them, and I think that's one of the biggest takeaways is that I get to learn from them every day. Next slide, please.
Could you get a little closer to the phone too, Carolyn? It's a bit staticky.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So I'm going to let Maria take this one. So Maria's a little speechless right now. This is our first webinar, and we're very excited. So I'm gonna help her out with this. So some of the things that we're going to be sharing with you on this course of this webinar is our results from our very first class. We learned a lot in a very short period of time. We are now developing a toolkit, and it's actually our first draft is due by the end of May, and we have learned so much in less. Well, we've been going now for about a year and a couple of months, and I mean, we've been through a lot in such a short period of time, and the growth that we've seen. We do have a toolkit that is being developed that can be, you know, put out there to other places, other communities, other states, because there is peer counseling across the nation. And it's a wonderful, wonderful profession, and we need more of it. So we're going to share with you a little bit of what we're doing with the toolkit, how we have created a system of care around this program, the Spark program. You know, I never really thought of it as that, but we're going to talk about some of our partners and folks that have come alongside of us and have really, come alongside of us and been like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, amazing to meet you.
Carolyn, your audio is really choppy right now. Are you close to the speaker, or could you guys try having Maria or Kevin call in on the dial-in number?
Yeah, we'll get dialed in. Sorry.
Perfect. You're going in and out, so you can keep going ahead. Sometimes it sounds all right.
Here, let's. Yeah, Maria's gonna get it connected right now.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, we definitely don't want to be going in and out.
Oh.
It should be on the. Here, if you get into.
Carolyn, could you let me know the last 4 digits of the number you're calling in from?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
You sound good now, so you can go on ahead and work out. Maria or Kevin can work out the phone.
So sorry, for some reason our plans will not allow us to use that number. So maybe if I talk a little bit slower. I know sometimes I get so excited about this program that I can get talking really fast.
You sound great now, so
okay.
Keep on keeping on.
Awesome. So getting back to a few things of which we're going to also talk about is, where we've been, where we're going, and some lessons learned, because we have learned quite a few things that have been obstacles, some barriers, and we've been able to really work out a lot of kinks to move forward. So we're going to share a little bit of that. Creating one of the best things that this program offers for youth is that we have created apprenticeships for youth. They are paid apprenticeships, and the youth get to work with local and regional and state entities on learning the system, learning how to navigate different systems. We do a lot of work with Evelyn Clark, who is our state's youth liaison around juvenile justice. We do a lot of work around foster care. So it's not just mental health. Mental health kind of, I guess I would say, links to a lot of different systems that we utilize. And then what's next for Spark? We're going to kind of talk about what's next for us. And we can go to the next slide. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to let Maria talk about this slide that's up. There's a picture of Maria and I to your left. Your left?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want her to share a little bit about what this picture means to her.
So this picture with me and Carolyn was the first trip that we went to was the Peer Pathways conference in, was it Tacoma?
Yeah, in Tacoma.
In Tacoma. And that's when like a little spark like lit up in me that this is something that I wanted to do. I was able to see what peer counseling was because it was always an interest of mine. But that conference opened the door for me and gave me like a new vision of everything. I was actually in Evelyn Clark's session talking about youth peers, and that's when it just all connected for me. And I remember me and Carolyn talking about having a class like this at New Horizons, so people that are 18 and finishing high school could become peer counselors. It was just the start for me, and then after that, it just went off on everything. We got it started, we got people, and yeah, that's what. It was the start of everything, pretty much.
So yeah, Marie and I got to drive from Tacoma back to where we are at in the Tri-Cities, Washington, and it was amazing because Maria just she was so excited about something, and I was like, you know, I'll bet that there are other youth that would get this excited about taking charge of their life, taking charge of their well-being, and teaching others how to do it. And so it was really the beginning of this movement that we started over here in the Tri-Cities, and we have been invited to many different conferences and symposiums. It's been pretty awesome, the learning curve that not just for myself, but for the youth to be able to go and be a part of. In the picture all the way to your right, some of the youth during their Spark apprenticeship got to learn how we designed this program, and they got to also look at where they wanted to see this program go. And all of the work that was done during that particular apprenticeship is why we are at where we're at now. So it has been amazing to watch them take this and say, hey, what about this? What about this? And of course, so in the middle picture, that is my partner in crime, Lucinda. She's amazing. I'm giving her a shout out right now. Her and I work very well together. We're great colleagues. I bring the peer voice, and Lucinda brings the professional, Yeah, so Lucinda has her MSW, so she has her master's in social work, but she really gets what peer counselors do. And her and I work really well and are able to bounce ideas off of each other, and the youth really respond to Lucinda. So we kind of have dubbed ourselves the dynamic duo at New Horizons. And you can go ahead and change the slide. Thank you. So Kevin, you want to?
Yeah. Hi.
All right, go Kevin.
So our purpose as Spark is to develop a school-based peer counselor career path for young adults ages 17 through 21. We also have adapted college students. Learn how to grow their social and emotional toolboxes. We also learn how to coach and mentor others in a strength-based setting. We teach goal setting and learn how to self-advocate and self-care. Take the 40 hours certified peer counselor class after graduation and be prepared to enter the certified peer counselor workforce.
So we have taken what, not a whole lot of youth really know about. When I mentioned becoming a certified peer counselor to some of the students, they were like, and being able to use their lived experience to help somebody else, they were like, that's not a job. You're joking with me. That's not, nobody does that. And once we were able to get them into a classroom and really understand and learn what maybe some things that they've been through and come through could benefit somebody else in being able to share their stories and experiences of coming out the other side. It was kind of a beautiful awakening for some of these students who were like, this is what I've always wanted to do. This is like, how did we not know about this? So it has been amazing to bring this to the students at New Horizons. As Kevin said, we have expanded the age group because we have also now night classes with college students, and a lot of them wanting to go into other fields in social services, so becoming therapists, psychiatrists, and I think we can all agree is that there is a lack of that in our nation of having folks going and being qualified therapists and psychiatrists, social workers. We need more of them, and we need, and in my opinion, we need more that come from and have stories to tell and walk alongside our youth, our families, because it makes, I feel, and this is my preference, and I see Kevin nodding his head, is that when you can share an experience with somebody and be like, man, I've come out the other side, and let me walk alongside of you and see where you can go and hold somebody's hope until they're ready to take it back. It's pretty amazing. I love working with parents. I love working with youth. It's a very powerful experience, and our youth are really excited about being able to share where they've been and how they've come through in becoming certified peer counselors. One of the things that Maria and I have done, learn how to grow their social.
Sorry to interrupt, but you're getting a little staticky again. You sounded great before, so whatever you were doing then was working. I don't know if you were just closer.
How's this?
Perfect.
Awesome. So Maria and I have worked with some of the students with a program called Toddlers to Teens, which was created by Dr. Ann Corwin and another professional, I believe Debbie Jones, who is in Oregon. And anyways, this particular program, it's Toddlers to Teens, but also now they have a youth program that you can get where you learn about your social and emotional skills. Where are you at with those? How can you, do you recognize when you're feeling certain ways, and how you can adapt to taking control of your social and emotional feelings and being strength-based with it. This has helped me quite a bit learn about my own social and emotional skills as an adult. So this is one of the practices that we utilize in these classes to help these youth grow their skills. And the other one that I find very helpful is through the Dibbles Institute, is the Love Notes curriculum. I have been fortunate to go and get certified in being able to teach that. And it's, a lot of people have said, oh, it's just talks about youth and dating, but it doesn't. It really has a lot about working relationships, family relationships, and how to move through very tough times and situations. So these are some of the curriculums that we use within our classes. And of course, though, we definitely teach to our state's 40-hour certified peer counselor training, which is the big one that gets you certified to be working as a peer counselor in a behavioral health agency. And what's so great about this is that our youth that are graduating and turning 18 can go and get a job at 18. Some agencies don't, but most of our agencies that provide youth peer counselors, you can be 18 and go and get a job at a mental health agency or behavioral health agency and be making some, above average wage with benefits, and our youth, they could totally benefit from that. And then also they could be working while they go to school. So our purpose is to help get them into doing peer counseling, which some of them have been like, this is what I want to do, is the peer counseling. But then also we have a lot of our youth that want to move on and become counselors and become psychiatrists and social workers because they have a foundation of where they came from. And we can go to the next slide. When are you two want to take this one?
Okay. So the first class that we had for 2019, we had 8 students.
You guys are a little staticky again. If you could get closer again.
We had 8 students in total for the class of 2019. Those were the ones that continued on into the CPC training. We're all Hispanic, Latino, Latinas. They were all bilingual. We all spoke Spanish, and there was one male student, which was Kevin. And there were 2 parents, me, myself, and another student as well that was pregnant. The age range was from 17 to 20, and there was a high school graduate and one student, which is me. And then 2 soon-to-be high school graduates that ended up graduating.
So we're getting a lot of static again. We can't hear you guys at all.
And so, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. And so,
oh, you're cutting out again.
Yeah. Maria's going to go, we're going to try one more phone.
Okay. All right, there we go. You sound good again.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, we had started out the class with quite a few more students, but what we have found with this work is that, when you get down to the nitty-gritty of what is entailed of being a certified peer counselor, some students find that it's not for them or that they're just not ready yet, because we've had some students come back and wanted to go through the second round, which we'll talk a little bit later about. But it was really cool because they recognized that they weren't quite ready for this. And that's the beautiful thing. This is totally their choice. And they can be involved in this program as much or as little as they would like. We can go to the next slide. Okay, so looking at our Spark class, what we did, what worked and what needed improvement, we had the opportunity to work with our state and be like, let's get some information from the youth about how this experience was for them. And I have to be honest with you, this first go around, we kind of, wow, it was kind of put together pretty quickly. We also had a snitch with a glitch with the weather. We had what we called, no, it was Snow Armageddon or something. It would not quit snowing here in Washington State, and so our classes kept getting pushed back. And so, anyways, we have a lot to talk about pros and cons. What I do appreciate is that we were able to bring in guest speakers, bring in relevant folks to the profession, that we brought in helpful activities, value in attending local FISPERTs, which are Family Youth System Partner Roundtables, which are also a part of our state's governance system with the WISE program. And, you know, what I love is that they felt a feeling of belonging and being a part of something big. We didn't know how big this was going to get, but we knew it was special, and the students felt like they were a part of something. And it was motivation towards graduation, which is what we really, one of our big incentives was helping students get to that graduation piece, so that they could, you know, move to something as soon as they graduated, and then, yeah, exactly, start working, and maybe go on to something else that they needed to go into college for. So some of the cons for the class was that we did not have enough class time, which was so true. Not enough time to share material, schedule consistency, non-consistent location, which actually we're going to talk a little bit about our partnership with New Horizons and the administration there, because we got to work through a lot of these barriers, and they made some barriers come down for us, which is pretty awesome. Okay, next slide. Kevin, do you want to talk about the 40-hour peer certification class?
Okay. So the 40-hour peer certification class observations that the students and all as a class had was some pros and some cons. So the facilitators were awesome and nice. They strengthening exercise to boost self. It was an open, safe space, able to openly express thoughts and learn important social skills. Some of the cons were website for modules kept malfunctioning, and some of them were not relevant no more. They had wrong answers on some questions. Questions written on tests that were not covered in training or modules, so they were no longer relevant. And training needs to provide a segment on note-taking and paperwork. So those are some of the cons that the class was able to work through.
So what was really nice about that was that the youth got to actually give specific barriers that were happening and pros to the state specifically around the 40-hour certification. So that was really awesome, and I know that we are in the process of updating, like with anything, you grow, and agencies change names. So I know that we in the state of Washington are revising some of our verbiage and how things are done for the 40-hour peer counseling class. So we got to be a part of that, which was pretty awesome to get youth who really didn't know too much about this system to be able to give some advice and some observations that they had going through this process. And it was a wonderful experience. I'm going to give a shout out to Tina. Thank you, Tina, for she has been an amazing mentor to these youth and champion for this program. And so it was awesome that the youth got to work with also those changing the materials to give their feedback on how to change things. And like with any technology stuff, there's glitches. So it was good to be able to give those that were running the website that you had to do your modules before you took the 40-hour certification to give them some feedback on what was working and what was not. And we can go to the next slide. Maria, this one's yours, Maria. You and Kevin, so you guys get to talk about this one.
So last year, was last year?
Yeah.
Last year's White Symposium, me and Kevin presented with the local FISPERT. We're able to speak on the youth's voice and how we, like, our experience in it. Some pros were that there was awesome keynote speakers at the White Symposium. It was well organized, and then sessions were clear and to the point.
Yeah, some of the, you want me to talk about the pros, or?
No, talk about cons.
All right, so I'll go to the cons because there was tons of pros. That was my favorite in the symposium. One of the cons was not enough registration supplies, and certain sessions were incredibly crowded and needed more seating. So there was a lot of people interested in it.
So this year, though, talk about a little bit about your involvement in this year's planning of the symposium.
We're in the process of it. I don't think I got it.
Chosen to speak.
Yeah, we're still working on. It's in process.
So one of the things is that we were asked this year to have at the WISE Symposium was to speak on Spark and kind of have our toolbox ready so that we can start duplicating this program in other parts of our state. So we've come a long way in this particular venue. The youth got to partner. Actually, a couple of the other speakers that are in this photo are from across our state, and they got to collaborate on the different ways that different folks utilize their family, youth, and system partner roundtables, but how it really makes a difference for youth being able to participate in them. Again, this FISPERTs are the governance structure to kind of oversee the WISE program, how it's going, how youth are being able to utilize it. Are there any wait times? Because it was designed to not have wait times. We want to get youth in that qualify as quickly as possible. so they can get the services that they need. So WISE stands for Wraparound with Intensive Services, and the concept is utilizing the wraparound philosophy and guiding principles. The component that they get with the intensive services is that there's a little bit more to your team. There are you get a therapist. There's a care coordinator that really helps coordinate services and meetings. But what I love the most is that it was mandated that youth partners and family partners are to be hired and put as a part of these WISE teams that are across our state. Because I know from personal experience that, folks that have gone through similar and challenging situations for me, and I know for youth, sometimes it's much easier to talk to. And so, when I can talk with somebody who is like, oh my gosh, you totally get where I've been or what I'm going through, makes a huge difference. And I'm not saying that counselors and care coordinators aren't important, because they are. They have a very different and specific role. But having that peer support is, I think, one of the most beneficial things that a family, a youth can have during difficult times in life. Next slide. I love this picture. So we got to participate also in our statewide Family Youth System Partner Roundtable, and got to take a picture with some of our other youth across the state. And you'll have to forgive me because I forget their names, but the two wonderful ladies from Youth Move National came and did some consulting with our system partners. And then we have Evelyn, who is our state youth liaison for HCA, which is our healthcare authority. So we got to meet with and do some work with some pretty awesome youth across our state. And what's so awesome about these FISPERTs is that there is a governance structure, and there is so this would be all of the regional FISPERTs coming together to this meeting, but there also is an executive team, which goes all the way to the top in our state. And, I feel we've had such great success with being able to break down barriers for different areas in our state, because we all have different needs. To kind of make things happen in particular regions. And it's been awesome to watch the youth really rise to the occasion and talk about what the needs of their area and regions are. So very excited to be able to do that. And the Spark team tries to go over to Olympia as many times as we can to go to these meetings, because it's very informational, and youth need to have a very prominent voice in what's going on in our state. Next slide, please. So really quick, I'm going to talk a little bit about our stakeholders and partners. This is where our system of care has come around us. And so our biggest supporter is the Washington State Healthcare Authority. They are amazing, and we thank them very much for their support. Community, one of our managed care, actually two of our managed care organizations in the state are two of our biggest supporters, Community Health Plan of Washington, actually helps fund some of our activities. And Coordinated Care, they have an amazing group of liaisons who come and actually talk to our students, and one of them being Naomi Herrera, yay Naomi, and Ani and Dawn, they come, Joey, I can't forget Joey. Joey will get after me if I don't mention him. But very great group of folks that come together and help teach our students and get them certified in different areas of practice. And shout out to Joelle Chavez at Community Health Plan of Washington. Thank you, Joelle, for being our partner. Comprehensive Healthcare is one of our community agencies that provide services for peers and other programs. And they have been a partner since the very beginning and helped out with our apprenticeships. So our students, the Spark students, get to go and do apprenticeships with these agencies and get to see what it's like. En route, Dan Embry might be a name that some of you know. Yay, Dan, and Mark Zubeidi from En route. They actually hold our training and coaching for our WISE programs across the state. They do an amazing job. They have partnered with us to help us with our contracts and teach us how to, not just myself, but our youth, how to manage and look at different contracts. So it's been an amazing partnership with all of these folks. We have some new ones. Lutheran Community Services is another one that provides WISE services that we are now partnering with so that the youth can really see what a WISE program looks like. And I know I'm missing some, but we have really created from local to regional to state level folks who come and really want to see this program and these youth get to where they want to be. Next slide, please. Really quick, so we developed, it's an 8 positions at 50 hours for our apprenticeships. So our first class went through these 4 agencies, programs, and really got to learn how to do what they do. The first go around, we kind of had some glitches, and we really didn't have enough time, and I totally take responsibility for this, but we didn't have enough time to really plan around them. But we got some great feedback from Comprehensive and some of our other folks that we partnered with, and we made it much better this year. We actually had an apprenticeship work group that was comprised of other agencies, local businesses, our accountable communities of health. The state was on these phone calls, really wanting to create an experience for these youth to be able to get a feel for what they would be doing out in the field. Unfortunately, we had this thing called the COVID stuff come up, but we said we weren't going to stop. We turned everything into online, and I'm so excited because our youth are actually going to be starting their apprenticeships in May online, and all the agencies were like, let's do this. Let's not let this get us. So we are going to be having all the apprenticeships up online and going here in May so that they can get paid, that they can help us with feedback and move forward in their training. Next slide, please. So I'm going to let Maria and Kevin talk about our celebration.
So the celebration dinner was special. We we got to meet in person with the state people, with Tina. We also got to meet with the other agency that was interested in hiring us, and that was really helpful. We also got to meet other people, and other people who do similar work that, they're good contacts and networking for the future. It was just an amazing opportunity and a great way to, celebrate Spark, or what is it, graduation of Spark.
Yep.
So it was awesome. I had a really good time, and it was good networking as well.
Next slide, please. So real quick, I think we're almost out of time here. But the future of Spark, where are we going? So we want to continue to partner with youth serving systems. And again, juvenile justice, youth and family services, anywhere that youth get services, we want to be a part of. Because I think that it is very important to have youth voice in everything we do. They're our future, and we need to have them at the table. No ifs, ands, or buts. We want to create a WISE workforce database for current job openings for youth. So this is one that we're still working on, but getting much closer, because we are getting to know our WISE programs all over the state. And so youth can't, because some of our youth want to relocate. They want to see a little bit more of from where they've grown up, and are willing to relocate. So we're working with other members of our team and the state team and WISE to look at where we can plug our youth in, and create this program in their area so that they can have and build their workforce there. Work with behavioral health care agencies on incentives to hire youth. This goes beyond just WISE. One of the things that one of our youth, Ms. Delilah, has really wanted to do is start she's one of our parents that went through this program. She would love to have a program for youth, for teen parents, not just moms, but dads too, that are, having to really understand, what they're going to be needing to do for baby. They want to be in the hospital doing support groups for teens, for young adults. So we don't just want to work in agencies. We want to expand and work in other arenas as well. Create a Spark development team and outreach team. We have done that. We have quite a group that, and just about most of all of the first go-around students, youth, are a part of that development team and get to put their thoughts into how this program needs to be going. Take this program nationwide. We want to adjust this so that this could be used by anybody. But we want to make sure that everybody's heart is in where this should be. Because it's easy to take something and say, I can do that, but we want to make sure that it's done right, that youth are in the front. And I know I've been talking a lot, but this is our first big webinar, and I know my nerves are still, even though my nerves are shot, but we're so excited to be here and sharing this with you all. We want to start working, I guess I already said that, with hospitals, including peer counselors in various departments. Oh. And then just continue our partnership with community, state, and national partners in developing programs for our youth, with our youth, because we couldn't do this if the youth hadn't put their input in this. And one awesome thing that we're very proud of is that we are now our own 501c3 and continue to grow every day.
And we can go to the next slide. So I wanted to show, this is our current class, Spark class. Kevin is in there because he came back and was a teacher to the new class. So it's awesome because the students that were in there the first go-around came back and are teaching the students in the second go-around. And these are some of the students that are going to be starting their apprenticeship, and we're so excited. And it's just amazing to watch these young folks in action. And we can go to the next slide.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing. So we do have a few minutes left for questions. So like I said, everyone's welcome to toss questions into the chat box on the side, and we do have a few already. I'm going to start off with the big one. So how can people start a Spark program in their own communities?
Well, that would be after, I believe, this slide. There is a slide with my contact information, and we would love for folks to get a hold of us, and we would love to start talking with folks about doing this wherever we can. It is important that we work with our youth. Our youth are going to be our future leaders, and they're going to be running the show one day, and I'm very proud of that. And so I'm excited to see where they're going. So yes, there's my contact information. Please reach out and let's get started talking.
Great. And then how did you go about recruiting students in the very beginning?
So the room that I get to run at this school is called the Mindset Reset Room. So I work with a lot of students, and I use my skills as a certified peer counselor in the state of Washington on how I go about talking with and interacting with the youth that come and see me. And a teacher can send them, they can self-refer themselves. If they're having a bad day, they can come in my room, and if they need to scream and yell, I shut the door and I let them scream and yell, because that might be what they need. But then we sit down and we talk about it. I give them time to be able to come back, refocus, and then how do we move forward from this? And I got to tell you, I saw some things that reminded me of me when I was young, and really wish that this program had been available to me as a youth. And I just started having conversations and asking them if they knew about peer counseling and peers. And, you know, and I see it in just about every student. Not every student wants to do it, but there's so much resiliency in these kids. And I'm sorry, I told them I wouldn't call them kids. In these youth, they're amazing. And the stuff that some of them have been through and conquered and overcome is beautiful. And I guess I saw this in them and kind of helped talk with them, mentor them. And a lot of them have such beautiful hearts that they want to give back.
I think a lot of us, I know for me, I loved what Carolyn was doing, and she inspired me to want to do the same. I just, you know, she was very helpful, and I thought that, you know, I would want to do that for others, you know, and that really, you know, take her position in a way in the future, have her job, because it's really helpful, and I think she inspired a lot of the youth that came to the class.
Yeah, I always tell them, you always work yourself out of a job. So one day you're going to see one of these youth sitting in my chair at New Horizons. So yes, and I'm very happy that they want to take over. So yeah, so that's there's beauty in everybody, and I think sometimes we miss that when we don't take the time to really listen And, you know, because a lot of times we listen to respond and not listen to really hear what somebody is saying or needing or wanting.
Great. Well, we're at our time for today, and what a great note to end on. So thank you, Carolyn, Maria, and Kevin, for a wonderful presentation, and thank you to everyone who joined us today. We appreciate your patience, especially with all the tech issues we ran into.
Yes,
I will be in touch with everyone in the next day or so to get you all a recording and a copy of the slides. And as Carolyn mentioned, if you have any other questions or want to reach out to her, her email's up on the screen right now. I'll also put it in the email that I send out with the recording. So you'll be able to get your questions answered or hopefully start a Spark program in your own community.
Yay!
So thank you, everyone. Stay safe and healthy and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.